Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to start off by giving all the glory, infinite praise, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutation unto the hopeful elect that is out there pushing this truth in all sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, giving diligence to make their calling of election sure. Shalom. This is your brother Hashah from the Great Millstone Savannah Camp, coming back in the spirit with another lesson. Lord willing, I pray and hope that it is edifying and exhorting. All right, and I want to basically go into Revelation, the 12th chapter, all right, which is going into Israel, all right, and the coming persecution, all right, and as we can see, the squeeze uh on East, by Esau Edom is getting tighter and tighter. All right, the legislation the current administration is passing. All right, it's becoming increasingly more and more oppressive. Okay, you have Trump basically declaring war on homelessness. All right, they're basically setting up a digital infrastructure for crime. All right, through Palantir and AI technology. All right, you have different websites requiring ID verification to log on them. Okay, so and we're heading into a total a total lockdown, a total system um of ultimately control. All right, so I want to start with Revelation, the 12th chapter, and matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." All right. And Esau Edom, he knows that he have a short time to rule on the earth, to accomplish his new world order, to accomplish his plan. All right. And his time, the closer we get, the more wroth he is becoming. All right, the more legislation he's trying to pass. Okay, um, basically this system. All right, the system that he wants to accomplish. All right, we know that Esau Edom has a God complex. Okay, where he wants to be like the Most High. All right, he wants to be everywhere. Right. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get that. This is Slovakia. Yeah, Ezekiel 28:2. It says, "Son of man, say to the prince of Tyrus," which at the time, Tyrus, all right, um, was basically, um, the governing the power of the earth. Okay, man, fucking bugs, bro. Slovakia. It says, "Thus says the Lord power, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God. I sit in the seat of God. In the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God. Though thou set thy heart as the heart of God, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel, There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Okay. And when you go into the technology that is being developed, um, it's gonna give Esau Edom godlike powers. All right. Meaning he's gonna be able to be everywhere. He's gonna be able to be in every home. All right. And he even wants to be inside of you. All right. The actual temple. Okay. He wants to know every transaction that you make, everything you buying and selling. He wants to know. Okay. And if right, if he accomplishes this new world order, it's basically uh, a new digital slavery, a digital form of captivity. All right, in which really is inescapable. All right, but by death. All right, in past captivities, you could possibly like run away. All right, you could maybe um, be able to make enough money to get away, but this one you're not going to be able to, man. You're not going to be able to operate without him being involved. All right, Slovakia, man. A lot of damn bugs out here, bro. Just fucking stand up or something. uh, but yeah, man, you're gonna have to, go through him. All right, and that's ultimately what he wants. All right, back in Revelation, the 12th chapter, um, it says the devil has come down unto you having great wrath because he know, that he had but a short time, and from the time of the Greeks to the time of the Romans, and basically from the fall of the Roman Empire, right, to the Renaissance period. From that Renaissance period up until now has been a little season that he was, granted to have rulership over the earth again. Okay, and he knows that he has a short time to rule, right, which is why certain legislations are being passed. All right, certain measures are being made. All right, to lock down these cities. Okay, ultimately to put hell on, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. So he wants to trap and snare the elect. Remember that he was a cunning hunter from the beginning. Okay, he was a very cunning hunter. All right. Um, verse 13 it says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child, which is during the time of uh, Herod. Um, he wanted to kill all the 2-year-old babies. All right, to stop the coming of the Messiah, Yahushua. All right, and he basically put out the decree to kill all male children, all Israelite children, males under the age of 2. All right, trying to get to Yahushua, which is why um Mary and Joseph, I believe, they fled into Egypt. Um, I mean, I have to look and check on that. I haven't read it in a while, but um, that nevertheless they fled. Okay, um, and they were basically under persecution. All right, and this is gonna the same type of persecution, right? It's gonna happen again. All right, it's gonna happen again. Okay, um, verse 14 it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. Right, and when you go into a time, right, that goes into 200 a 200-year period, right? at times, right, is going into Salakia, a time, right, which is 100 years, a times, which is 200 years, right? Because it's plural times, all right. And then it says a time and a half, which is a half of time, right? So this is basically the Lord talking in code, talking in secret, right? And a lot of people will read this and not understand, but the Lord has given, ultimately men, the prophets in these latter days, the Holy Spirit, okay, to know and prophesy these things, man, to make them known, to manifest His word, okay. And that 350-year time period is talking about the time period of slavery in America, okay. But now we're coming, really up until the time of Abba Bibbins, right? When this truth came back on the scene and we were basically dead bodies. The scripture speaks about it. In Ezekiel, it speaks about those dry bones, right? Um, it says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood, right? And basically after the Roman persecution in 70 AD, right? Which, this chapter is one where it goes back and forth in time, right? It goes back and forth and flips in time, right? During 70 AD, he was basically, searching for us. He searched and, basically found us in Western Africa, okay? Um, Up until the time what really Rome, uh, up until the time Rome fell, right? Um, and then you had, the Byzantine Empire, but he knew where we were. He knew exactly where to go once he got back in the power seat. And he did. Okay, and through the sword, through the gun, right, through him, basically, using gunpowder and getting gunpowder through trade, right, he was able to conquer. Okay, it says, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And this is talking about that time period where we were fleeing into Western Africa. All right, and we did, we built kingdoms in Western Africa, and there was always tension between us and you know, those Hamites in the region. All right, but ultimately, uh, we were nourished for a time. All right, we were nourished for a certain period of time. Right. Um, let's see. Verse 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua. Who is that? Right? Uh, the modern day prophet, man. The men that are on the highways and byways throughout the four corners of the earth, giving diligence to make their pardon of election sure. Right? The devil is going to persecute us. He's going to come down, right? Why? Because going back to Revelation the 12th chapter, Revelation the 12 and 12, right? Having great wrath because he knows that he has a short time. So um this is that persecution. All right. Now let's get let me see. Let's see. I'm gonna get making a man, right? Um it says Isaiah 29 in verse 20. It says, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. that make a man an offender for a word and lay a snare for him that repeateth in the gates, and turn aside the just for a thing of not. And that's, what's taking place is they are making a man an offender for a word. All right. There's gonna be an attack on free speech. All right. For the Lord has opened up this grace period up into the prophets. All right, to come out and to prophesy, to call out the so-called white man for his atrocities, his crimes. All right. But Esau is closing that time period up, and this is going into Amos, the eighth chapter, right? The famine of the word, right? And ultimately, that's going to come by way of persecution, by way of persecution of the saints, and we're heading into that time, right? Let me get.